every time there is a photo or one of these emails, it just raises more questions as to how much time they really spent with him, how intimate or relaxed their friendship must have been to kind of be in these situations
Yeah.
where perhaps they're saying they're all having a laugh, but that's it's quite an informal position from Prince Andrew.
If you've opened your morning papers, you will have seen that the story dominating the headlines is the latest gallons of scummery and filth from the Epstein files, which have 300, I think 3 million files have been published now, heavily redacted. And I'm delighted to say that the Times and Sunday Times Washington editor and chief Trump watcher, Katy Balls, joins me now to wade through the morass of human garbage. So, Katy, it's all good reading, isn't it?
Yeah, that's one way of putting it. It might
Yeah.
also be the final time we get Epstein files because the Department of Justice is claiming that with the release of these 3 million, and they've now done their duty when it came to the act of Congress, that was meaning they were legally obliged to release the files. And this is as much as we're going to get.
Ah, right. But there's quite a bit in there to chew on. I mean, the artist formerly known as Prince Andrew crops up a little bit, doesn't he?
He does, as has happened, I think, with really every release we've had in the Epstein files. He is very much a recurring character. There's obviously inviting Epstein to the palace. That's one of the things that comes up, allegedly. And then also looking at there's a photo that's been released, which I think is when a picture, tells 1,000 stories. And that picture is on the top of a lot of the coverage, which is, Andrew almost lying down over, someone who we cannot see them. They've been redacted, which of course, if you're redacted in the files, tends to suggest, I think, that you're probably a victim.
Yeah, the trouble is they're all stripped of context, and needless to say, we have to say this every time, all the allegations in the files are contested by people called unfounded and false in the case of those against Donald Trump. Andrew, there is nothing really you can learn from that photograph, can you? I mean, other than that they got up to some weird stuff in the Epstein house.
Yeah, and I think it's just another reminder with every photo that we see that, lots of people have consistently played down their links or relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. And I think every time there is a photo or, one of these emails, it just, raises more questions as to, how much time they really spent with him, how intimate or, relaxed their friendship must have been to kind of be, in these situations
Yeah.
where perhaps they're saying they're all having a laugh, but that's, it's quite an informal position from Prince Andrew. This is clearly someone who he let his guard down as a member of the royal family in the disgraced financiers company.
Yes, both him and Peter Mandelson seem to have somewhat understated their relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, don't they? There are also allegations about Donald Trump, as I say, described as unfounded and false, and the president denies any wrongdoing. Are we going to see any more information about that? Is there any feeling that there should be an inquiry? Well, what do we know?
Yeah, as you say, there's a number of claims in these files, which are figures saying that things have happened, and the White House pushed back very strongly on them. You also have a point where, to the point you made earlier, the Epstein files, to be in them is not necessarily to be the case that anything's been proven or you've done anything wrong. Some of these are allegations, and then there's a question of, were the allegations then followed up by the police? Did they look into it? Why was there not a case of prosecution brought in such a situation? I think what'll be interesting in terms of things related to Donald Trump is, how did the Democrats respond to it? Do they try and push this forward and make more of something and ask whether they've been investigated? What you'll always hear from Trump allies every time is, Biden also had these files. So if there was really something so damning on Donald Trump, and given all the ways they didn't want Donald Trump to, return to the White House, even stand, surely they would have used it then. So I still think there could be some kickback, but I think that gives you a sense of probably the flavour of what both sides will be saying.
Yeah, meanwhile, is he going to invade Iran?
Well, if you want to distract from a story, there's always lots of things you can do. I think Linton Crosby called it the dead cat strategy. But I think on Iran, there's more going on there, which is not all about the Epstein files, of course. And I think we've seen, obviously, the Armada, we've seen the movement of the things that you might need if you wanted to strike Iran, if you wanted to get involved militarily. But we're also seeing Donald Trump publicly talking about it and saying, here's what I want on nuclear. Here's the negotiation. This is why you need to listen to me because I'm moving all these things that I'm serious. So certainly, I think in DC, there's a feeling that the likelihood is rising as the days go on, and perhaps some of the Middle East countries that previously warned him against doing it, which we see as the main reason he didn't a few weeks ago, have perhaps changed their positions. Maybe Israel, but not all of them, and therefore there could be a way forward, but he's clearly trying to see if he can get something out of them first.
Yeah, well, he's also taking some flack, Trump, isn't he, from the Iranian protesters who he urged to go out onto the streets to fight to overthrow their ghastly regime, and said that help was coming. Help didn't come.
No, and I think when you tweet saying we'll be by your side, of
Yeah.
course they might have thought, if they just kept the disruption going, if they kept the demonstrations going for a few more days, that America was going to intervene. Donald Trump claimed the reason he didn't need to do that is to stop some of the executions. But obviously, we don't fully know what's going on in Iran because you don't really have international journalists able to get in. Those who are there obviously face a very difficult time in terms of access to what they can get out there and what the regime does. But I think there probably is a feeling, as we're seeing, some of them that they were already on the Hill to a degree because the demonstrations were taking place without Trump, but they were continuing in a way thinking that the US might actually take their interventionist role.